What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some key levels to watch for as time goes on, what's happening with these charts. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, as far as NIO is going, we did try to break out towards this 4.25 area, but then we got this rejection move as we're starting to dip a bit. But we're going to be watching to see how well we hold these EMAs. Now, looking at the news, there wasn't really much that came out, but there's a lot of talk between tariffs between the US and China. Heading into next week, we just have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index report. Then we have the JOLTS job openings on Tuesday coming out. On Wednesday, we have lots of employment numbers coming out, not to mention our PCE reports. And then heading into the later days, we have the ISM data and then a bunch of unemployment numbers on Friday. So lots of data every single day of the week for next week, especially as we start the month of May. May 1st is going to be on Thursday, so keep that in mind. We have very limited time left for the week. And then on top of this, when it comes to more data, I just wanted to mention that going into Tuesday, we have SoFi and PayPal announcing earnings. On Wednesday, we have Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, and many others. And on Thursday, we have Amazon and Apple also announcing their earnings. So just keep this in mind. Lots of big tech earnings for next week. When it comes to President Trump, there's been a lot of talk involving China. So far, Beijing have denied that there's been talks when it comes to like trade negotiations between the US and China. But President Trump has been saying that he just received a call from the leader known as Xi of China. He claims that they ended up meeting, not meeting, but they had a call and that they ended up discussing tariffs and such. So we're going to be listening to see what ends up coming out from that. There's also been a lot of headlines that President Trump may be decreasing tariffs on China. There's also been lots of talk about how there could be a decrease, more exemptions for automakers. We'll have to wait and see, though. Nothing's confirmed quite yet. Besides that, we're also going to be listening to see what else is said. So with that being said, what do I see for the shares? What do I see for the markets? Honestly, guys, it depends on what happens with the news, but it is worth mentioning that NIO has a potential um, inverse head and shoulders like structure. We have a left shoulder here. We have like a head here, then possibly like a right shoulder. We might dip back down to these EMS. So we want to see if we can get a bounce from here to continue to go higher. So I do anticipate some more downside for the 3.9 area, and we'll see how we end up reacting to that. Despite that, SPY and the others do look bullish. We have like a rising wedge like structure, but for now it does look like SPY could continue higher towards like 555 to fill that gap. And if that breaks, we're looking for 567 to slowly climb up. Then we'll see if this wedge ends up panning out to cause a downside move. But as of right now, we're looking a bit more bullish. Same thing with the QQQ. Although we're forming this wedge, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. And we get slowly uptrend for basically 478, if not 480, if we continue here. So watch resistance. For the IWM, we're looking bullish. We're trying to make higher highs and higher lows as well on this. And as you guys could tell, we're forming a very, very nice accumulation. This has the potential to go back up to about 199 as long as we don't lose 190. So far, so good. ES is looking bullish as we're making higher highs and higher lows. If we end up losing 5450 and then 5400, we can start dumping. As long as we're above those levels, though, we should slowly uptrend for basically closer to 5700. When it comes to NQ, we're also making higher lows. If we end up losing 19,000, we'll be dumping back down. As long as we're above that, we're also continuing to climb higher over and over again. So I think that this is still looking bullish. So just keep that in mind, especially as we get closer to the 20,000 mark. For Bitcoin, we have a nice looking accumulation right over here. So we could be looking for 96,000 as a potential target. For Tesla, we're looking a bit more bullish as well because it's continuing to break out. Now, it depends on if we get back above these resistances up here. We got lots of rejections between 293 and 290. I do think we might be pushing closer to that level, but then we'll see what the reaction happens to be like as we hit these tough levels. So you want to be very careful. We're watching 285 as resistance, 288 to 292. If we break through that, this is going to be flying back up to the 300s. If not, this is going to be taking a big hit. So it depends on how it ends up reacting. Might go a little bit higher as we get very close to the 280s. So I do think there's still some upside potential. For Nvda, we might be trying to test this red line around 113, completing the inverse head and shoulders, which definitely has potential to pan out. For Apple, we look bullish as we're making higher highs and higher lows. Could be looking for 213 as a potential target. For Coinbase, we're looking good, higher highs and higher lows. As long as we don't end up losing 200, we're favoring 218. Amazon's looking bullish. We could be looking for an attempt for 193 as well. So far, so good from this. Meta could be slowly uptrending for 560 again. Looks pretty good in terms of the setup. We did dip a bit only to get bought back up. Microsoft looks good, looking for 395 to 400. And then Google, pretty nice move. It did push only to dip a bit, so it might actually underperform and retest 159. And we'll see if we bounce off that. Overall, there's a nice structure here. It already made the full measure move towards like 172. Might come down a bit before it tries to bounce, so just keep that in mind. Last but not least, the VIX has a falling wedge. But as this is downtrending, we do have a gap to fill down here around this 21 area, which makes me suspect the market is going to go higher early next week. And then we'll see how it ends up reacting from there. With that being said, NIO is looking quite good. It's trying to make higher highs and higher lows. We might dip a little bit more to retest 3.9 to 3.7 in this range, and we'll see if we bounce or not. With that being said, enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back very soon with another upload. Until then, enjoy what life has to offer, and I'll be back very soon. Thank you, and peace out.